going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 4 of the Lured Up Creator Series, the podcast bringing your favorite content creators to talk about their work, process, and the game that brings it all together, Pokemon Go. Lured Up is part of the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Friday, June 19th, 2020. I'm your host, Ken Pescatore, joined by my co-host, Adam Tuttle. Adam, hello.
Hey.
What is up? How are you?
Well, I'd like to say fantastic, but with my internet issues and...
yeah. Adam has like some duct tape and I don't know, bubble gum maybe holding his internet together right now. So hopefully we won't have a problem. But anyway, this is the Creator Series. We couldn't do it without having a creator on the show. And this week,
who do we got?
We're excited to have back on Lured Up the Trainer Club. Billy, what's up, man?
Yay.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I am excited to be back, as always, man. Super excited.
Psyched. Yeah, no, dude, I'm psyched to have you here. I'm glad we were able to lock down a time. It was just like, yo, we got this Friday. You're like, Friday. I was like, all right, let's do it. I love it.
Yeah, man, you got to be proactive and jump on all that stuff.
I know, man. It was awesome. I appreciate you responding so promptly, and we got this done.
Yeah,
so
appreciate
really
you making the
that.
time.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Faux sure. So why don't you introduce yourself, just in case our community has not seen your videos or isn't familiar with your content. Why don't you let us know who you are and tell us a little bit about your channel?
Yeah, so I'm Billy, better known as the Trainer Club on YouTube, and basically I produce mainly informative content. I've been doing a little bit more vlogging lately just to try to provide some entertainment, but basically on YouTube, if you guys play Pokemon Go or you're into Pokemon, we pretty much dive into the analytics, the depth, the top tips is what I'm known for, excellent throw tutorials, everything that'll basically help you take yourself from a potentially novice Pokemon Go player that may get a little frustrated with like the day-to-day grind if you're not familiar with some of like the more advanced strategies that some of like the advanced players use, and then I try to break it down into simple to understand terms so that everybody, regardless of what level you are in Pokemon Go, that you can really digest it and then utilize it pretty easily without having to like, you know, plan out this whole formula in your head.
That's great, man.
Well
because
said.
I take for granted all the time, especially on this show, when I'm talking about mechanics and, you know, just things that, you know, are ingrained in my head because I, you know, live this game for years and years and years, and I always forget, like, oh my God, I got to explain this a little better because not everyone thinks about it the way I think about it. So I think that's what makes your content really welcoming, is you do have this approach that can be taken in and digested by a novice player, someone that's like in the middle of the game, or an expert level player. Like it's for, I think honestly, for an expert level player, your content is so great because it's just like a research project. I'm just getting fucking information and information and information. It's like, yes, like the lines of the Matrix are like flowing down, like really, you know, the green text is just coming down ones and zeros. It's
I'm
awesome.
just waiting for one of those like little fold out, trifold like banners. We're just like, all right, so this is a Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to catch it.
But let's start at the beginning. What's your relationship with the Pokemon franchise at large? Like, was Pokemon Go your first game, or do you have a relationship prior to Go?
Yeah, no, I definitely had a relationship prior. It's not too in-depth, but it was pretty in-depth for the time that it was when I was playing it. So obviously, like, Pokemon trading cards, I believe, like, I was doing that before, like, Game Boy came out with the game, and then the Red and Blue hit America, and I was just, like, super obsessed with that. So I had, like, the nostalgia of, and I don't even believe that, like, I'm pretty sure holographic cards, and I'm going to sound super noob right now, are, like, the shinies of trading cards, right? So, like, super obsessed with the holographic
Back then,
cards.
yes.
Yeah, back then, right? Yeah. So back then, like, the holographic was, like, our today's shiny, and I didn't even know about shinies. I don't even know if there were shinies in Red and Blue because I don't remember any of them. I don't know if you guys do.
Nope.
Yeah, so I played Red and Blue, like, and this is so long ago, like, I honestly forgot a lot about it, but, like, I literally played it. I remember on my way to school, we would walk to school, and I would play Game Boy, like, the entire time, and, like, so much to the fact that, like, I literally got sick from playing too many video games, and I think that, like, that was the point where I was like, I think I should probably move on from playing Pokemon Red and Blue, because I beat it so many times and did so much with it that, like, then it was kind of starting to get to an age, I think that it was like 4th or 5th grade for me. So it was starting to get to like a little bit more into the sports like soccer. And then I think I just picked up skateboarding, which I did competitively for a long time. So I basically kind of like let the video games go for a little while And I think PlayStation might have come out, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater just kind of like dominated my life.
Bro, the
Yeah,
remakes,
I was gonna say the
man.
remake's coming.
Oh my god!
And
It
then
looks
pretty
so
much
good.
just like dropped off everything Pokemon until like Pokemon Go came out. And honestly, like I was plugged into video games, but from like making clothing for a company called Smite, and like I just saw like all these content creators that I was following that we had met through like producing all this clothing. And the Smosh guys in specific, like Mari and some of the other guys like Flitz, we were all like following them on Instagram, and I was like, why is everybody posting these like cameras with Pokemon in their bedrooms and stuff like that? And I was like, it must just be like an app that you can just like pull a Pokemon up and take a picture everywhere and then like post it on social media. Like that's kind of cute. And then like my buddy broke it down like, nah, dude, it's Pokemon Go. And I was like, oh.
And then the world changed.
Legit. No, I didn't want to play because I know I have an obsessive personality, and I knew that I was going to get way too obsessed with the game. So I was
That's
like,
a rabbit hole.
Really trying to resist playing it until like my girlfriend at the time was playing it, and I was just like, let me show you how to do that. Like I already knew how to. I was watching her try to do it, and I was like, I already know how to. Like, just give me your phone, and let me do it. And now I downloaded my game, and it's. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Now we're here.
That's awesome. No, dude, it's believe me. There's so many people I know, and even myself included, to a certain limit. But we all have had ebbs and flows with the franchise. I mean, when something's around for 20 something years, I mean, it's hard to stick with that, full force. Like I loved Pokemon since it came out, but my levels of engagement have, like I said, ebbed and flowed over the years. But when Pokemon Go hit.
Yeah,
that was it. Like, I mean, it was like the magnet, was cranked as, it was just like, I couldn't separate myself. So it was like, yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah. So you saw, you were working with content creators in a different capacity, like with doing the merch and stuff.
Right.
But what influenced you to actually start making the content yourself?
Well, we weren't involved in like, I guess they were just posting because they're gamers, so they weren't like directly Pokemon Go YouTubers or anything like that. But as far as like the content for myself, honestly, like I just got so obsessed with the game for so long, and I had like a local following in my Atlanta community that I was like, man, I just feel so unproductive with my life, to be honest with you, because I was so obsessed that I finally heard, like, I didn't even know Pokemon Go YouTube was a thing. Like, I had no idea that world even existed for a year and a half of playing. And then somebody showed me, like, I'm pretty sure it was, like, Mystic7. One of my buddies was super into, like, his videos. And then Trainer Tips. And I think those were the two people that I watched their videos first. And I was like, oh, my God, like, this is insane. Like, people actually, like, do this, like, is a thing. And so, like, that's when I discovered it. And then I had the desire, like, to do it because I figured that if I am the go-to, like, if anybody in my community gets 98 or 100% legendary, like, they automatically give me their phone to be able to catch it for them.
Catch
so I'm
this,
like,
please.
yeah, if I can do it for these people in person and I could translate that into a video that I know a lot of these people have value, then I could potentially have a bigger stage to produce that value.
Adam always says, like, you find it, what is it, Adam? Find a need, fill a need?
Yeah,
You always
yeah.
say? It's like...
See a need, fill a need. It's from, like, the robot movie from forever ago.
I'll take it. It's a good motto, whatever it is. But, I mean, no, that's great because, I mean, especially when you have that kind of approach to content where you're doing it and the influence to do it is... to help others. When it comes to informative videos, I think that's super important. And your videos are definitely highly informative, but they're also highly energetic, and there's a lot of entertainment in there as well. And I always love picking creators' brains here on this kind of thing, and that blend of entertainment versus information. And with your videos in particular, because dude, you're like high energy, on 11, but with not just physically with your delivery of the information, but the information itself, like you're rattling it off like encyclopedia mode, like it's impressive. What was that kind of your design from the beginning to like take high octane, presentation and give you all the information? Was that like part of your vibe from the beginning?
No, honestly, like I didn't really know what I was doing. And I think that's a lesson in a lot of things because if you're just willing to be patient, and I've seen it because we had a Halo competitive gaming league where we were on Twitch with, you know, like thousands of people watching us hosting Halo events when MLG dropped Halo. And like I saw companies and people back then that I was like, in my mind, prejudge this person. Like, there's no way this person can make it. They don't have what it takes. Like, they're just not that personality, or they're not that whatever. But like, they stayed persistent, and now like that our paths have crossed. And I'm like, man, they're doing something awesome, and they have a following, and their company's growing, or whatever it is. So like when I started, man, you go back to my first video, it's like, it's bad, man. Like, it's so like I want to take that video off the internet.
No, I know, dude.
But
It's never a good look to go back. It's never a good look.
Yeah, you're like,
it's always,
podcast episode number one.
Dude,
no,
cringe.
No,
so
Hi,
not
Pokemon
at all, man.
friends.
Like, it just kind of evolved, and my girlfriend at the time as well, the same one that got me into the game, was also an actress, and she kind of like pulled me aside after like my first 2 videos and was like, dude, you got to do something different because your energy is like terrible. And I was like, man, like, I know, because I'm editing it and I'm not even enjoying watching myself edit it. So to me, like, I'm always into personal development. So the editing and me watching all this stuff, and then me doing it, and then me feeling it, and then me trying to deliver, is all just a big game of personal development, and me developing myself, my character, and then my delivery of my content to make it better. So if I can just, every time I edit a video, it's not just me editing, it's me watching myself and like seeing where my eyes are looking, how my head's tilting, am I engaged, do I disengage, and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I evolved over time. That's
awesome, man. It's a sculpture. It's like, I love the editing process, you know, especially when, you know, I do tons of audio editing, and that's what I always say. It's like, it's literally like a sculpture, but you can literally take a little from here, a little from there, and you know, as you're developing it, even from the beginning of an episode to the end of an episode, you have this path of shaping the delivery of whatever that content is. So that's a really cool approach, man. I think that it's definitely clear that you have a vision like that and a direction like that, because you know that comes through in your videos. Now, if someone has never seen your videos before, they've never seen a Trainer Club video, what can they expect from your content?
A lot of high energy, lots of information. And the reason why I do that is because like I'm reading you stats, right? So like if I don't have high energy, the chance of you sticking on my video for more than a minute, it's like 0%, right? So if I have to at least deliver more than information to be able to obtain you at my channel, to be able to give you that information for you to be able to receive it and perceive potentially something energetically as well. So I don't think I really thought that way, but when I was watching myself back, that's how I developed it. And now that I'm looking at it, it's more of like an energetic exchange at the same time that I'm able to give you something positive, a feeling, and then I'm also able to deliver some type of information to you, to whether you take it all in, take half of it in, take a quarter of it in, whatever level you're at and are able to receive that. That's all that matters to me, is that you got something that can benefit you, whether it be, oh, what's a quick catch trick, or what's, you know, this 100% IV, or oh, this Pokemon's actually really good, you know, what's the dropped attack high defense stamina for, and stuff like that. So, you know, it doesn't matter, like maybe it's just a little spark that will come and get you to come back. And, you know, my goal is like, it was never really to like make myself popular. It was more to like, how much information could I share? And then I'm kind of just like here right now.
That's wild, man, because it's very evident that people can relate to that, and that, you know, I love that. I believe you even said it when you were on the show the last time, that energy exchange. Mm-hmm. I think that's such a freaking awesome way to put it, because it's like it's like Adam's thing. See a need, fill a need. The viewer needs information. How do I do something? And like you're delivering that in a way, and like, yeah, it's really cool the way that transfer. And we've seen your community kind of develop a kind of like this persona of its own, and has grown immensely. And I want to give you kudos on your Discord server, because I've watched this Discord server grow. I've been in there a long time.
Yeah.
And you guys like we're crushing it, and you hit 10,000 members like not too long ago, and you're already like, I don't know, your pace is crazy right now.
Yeah, it's insane, honestly. Like, that kind of came together. The reason I started my Discord initially was just to have a place for me to have an exclusive chat for my Patreons. So I could, because my higher tier Patreons, my top 2 tiers have an exclusive chat with me where they can tag me anytime. And I pop in there a couple times a day, and we all like celebrate, and, you know, we're all kind of like, just in there. Like, we're not, it's just a little bit different of a maturity level as far as most of those people. So it's kind of like that's why I started. It was like this exclusive club room that I could do that. So because I knew in Patreon, in Discord, I could hide my channels and stuff like that. So I could have this layer in there that people that could also come and like be a part. So I think I had like maybe like 1,000 people in my Patreon, and then Cosmic, which I believe you know, was yeah, he kept hitting me up. He's like, dude, I got this this Discord, like, do you mind if I like promote it in your Discord? And I was like, the first time I was like, yeah, and then I like thought about it, and I was like, I checked his Discord out, and I was like, man, this is designed pretty cool. And I was like, dude, you have the skill set and the design of this Discord, and I already had like a little bit of things built, and I already used it a little bit. So like I said, I had 1,000, and I took it to Montreal, and I was like posting in there to help people find me and tagging people, telling where I was going to be. And then we did a huge raid train out in Montreal with like 300 people, and I was posting all of the gym locations in case anybody was late or was at Goat Fest or Safari Zone still and wanted to meet up, on my Twitter and in my Discord. So it was kind of elementary. And then I saw Cosmics, and I was like, dude, like, I have the platform to be able to fill these rooms. Like, me trying to promote a Discord that's not mine. There's a thing like, it's tricky to be an influencer, and I think I can just start potentially calling myself that like, when you tell somebody to do something, they always, most of the time, don't do it, right? Like, it's like a repetitive thing, for one, and for two, it's like they're here for me most of the time, or my information, or whatever that is. So they're kind of feeling like loyal. And even if I say like, it's cool, like, go watch this person, or it's cool, go do this, like, there's always that sense of loyalty that I've seen in a lot of people, where it's like, it's not like they don't listen to you, but it's like, I already have everything I need here. So if I could create that design with that here, then I could have that. And so then we just let Cosmic go wild in there. Yeah.
It's every so often, and I do want to give big props to Cosmic here, because, you know, and I know that he works with a bunch of people in the Discord too, so the whole Discord team.
Oh yeah.
But it's very rare, and I know this because, you know, I'm very selective with the people that I work with and the people that I let, you know, behind the curtain. You know, I'm very strict when it comes to that, because I've been burned, you know.
Totally, man. And I think we all have at some point or another.
Getting to know Cosmic and, you know, becoming friends with him on Discord and just going back and forth, private messaging all the time, you know, just how are you? Like, it's amazing the level of, just so you know, the level of like brand loyalty and respect for the representation of the brand that he has. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, this fucking guy is in. Like, he gets it. Totally. So it's like, kudos to your team, man, because you got some really strong people working with you, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And then that kind of just happened. I don't know how the rest of my team, but obviously got to give a big shout out to Abaddon, Dalen, and then Techno Mike, and then Samaya. Samaya actually, I think, was like one of my first like 500 subscribers. And then I happened to be back in Atlanta, and we did a lucky trade because we were lucky friends. She just said like, hey, you know, like, I do a couple Discords out here, like, just let me know. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got back, I told Cosmic, like, you got to check out Samaya. And that kind of clicked, man. So I'm super grateful and blessed to have all those people.
Yeah, so Samaya interacts with our Twitter stuff all the time. So
yeah, she's awesome. Epic, man. She's a really good person. All of them are really good people.
That's great, man. But seriously, though, congratulations on the Discord, man. That growth you had was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm appreciative for it.
Seeing someone else excel is like super exciting.
Yeah, and I don't even have a clue. Like, I don't know like what big servers are, but I mean, like, I don't know much about Discord, right? Like,
dude, 10,000 plus is huge, man. That's big.
Yeah,
that is big.
I just had no concept of. I don't have a concept about that. I don't know if 50,000 is big or 100 or 10 or 5 or I don't know. But I'm just grateful.
It's not about the numbers.
You could have a. Yeah, but I mean, you could have a big ass community server in Pokemon Go that's like 300 or 400 people. So when you get to the 10,000 point, it's like, whoa, this is
we're almost at 13,000, so that's pretty cool.
I know, and it's so crazy. It's so awesome. And you like just hit 10,000,
dude.
It's crazy.
It's blowing up, man.
What's it like writing the content for your videos? Like, clearly you have to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Do you commit all these to memory, or is there a lot of editing that has to be done?
No, I
there's-
say giant cue cards. Giant.
Yeah,
Giant it's like you do these one take shots, and it's like, dude, he's going, he's rattling it off. I was like, he's either got giant cue cards or this is in his memory.
Yeah, I watched the
No giant
Beedrill
cue
Community
cards.
Day video, and I'm like, there's no way. But nope, there is a way. He's doing it.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't have giant cue cards. I don't have any cue cards. So what my process looks like is most of the events, I have somewhat of a structured outline that I have developed over time that I'm like, these are how I'm going to handle these tips. And if something else comes up, I'll modify it in. But, my structure of my videos are pretty similar. But as far as like the stats go, like virtually what I do is I take screenshots on my phone of everything that I need. Or if it gets really hard where it's like a lot of PvP stats and like, all the IVs, I'll write it out on just like a piece of paper and I'll look at it in my pocket and I'll remember as much as I can. And then I'll put it in my pocket and then I'll keep recording until I forget. And then I'll come back to my pocket and then I chop up the re-reference.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's great, man. But I'm telling you, you do have some long one take shots though, and I'm like, dude,
It's very impressive.
he's got like you're like the perfect person to be like in a raid train with if you have questions. It's just like ask Billy.
Dude, honestly though, sometimes like I go over so many videos and I'm going like so much stuff that sometimes I actually like forget the stuff. But like the 100 IVs, like I've always been like that with the 100 IVs where it's just like I just know what they are because that's what I'm searching for myself. So I have personal stake in a lot of those things, right? So that makes it more impactful for me. Yeah.
And have events like the Spotlight Hour on Tuesdays and the Raid Hours on Wednesdays, have they helped your content at all?
I would say the raid hours are really good, especially when they're shiny legendaries because it wasn't until Japan, and I don't know if we talked about this last time, but Japan and when I went to Yokohama Go Fest, which I do believe we'll talk about that traveling abroad, is that was the first time that my vlogs actually like made it on the scene. And what I mean by made it is like all my vlogs before that were like 2,000 to 5,000 views, which was like crazy low compared to my tip videos. Like there was a complete imbalance. And then I went to Japan and it put a lot of the things on the mark because I was doing things that a lot of people in the US where my followers couldn't see. So they were really interested in my stuff, obviously. And then ever since then, my vlogs have been more popular. So I'm just like grateful for that. But then like the vlogs on Raid Hour, especially, and it would be really cool for Niantic to just be a little bit more conscious of this, which is a whole different issue. But, like when there's not a shiny legendary out, like all our vlogs are like exponentially less valuable just because it's like we're not out there hunting like some really rare shinies that many people may not consider doing 20-30 raids if you're not hardcore in like a day or two, right? So that's one thing. But the Spotlight Hour, it's something that I'm going to start live streaming a little bit more. I did one, but I'm going to do the next one. And Numal, I just kind of, it was Numal.
That was all about the catches.
Yeah, the Stardust for sure.
grind.
But there was Stardust coming up for this event and then the next event. So I was like, or for the Com Day. So I was like, I just had a bunch of editing and content going out. So I had to skip that one.
Right. Understandable.
So yes, for the Raid Hour, not so much for the Spotlight Hour yet that I've seen.
Okay. And where do your vlogs come into the mix?
Yeah, so my vlogs are typically I'll do a Raid Hour vlog. I try to do it at least once a week, and then I'll try to do one type of shiny hunt if there's an event going on, which usually there is an event every weekend basically nowadays. So I try to at least do 2 vlogs a week just to kind of break up the content because I feel like if I get too much information constantly, then it kind of becomes like a little just monotonous, and that's the last thing I want to do. So if I can break it up and provide some entertainment value with a little bit of my tips mixed in as always, but it's not just like, me just standing in front of a camera and not having any type of scenery or raid interaction or battles or whatever that is going on as well.
Nice.
Okay, and you had mentioned that you traveled. How do you think the current health crisis will influence your travel going forward? Or do you have any plans to travel anytime soon?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's less about the travel potential, more about the potential of like, do people actually want to like come to an event? So I was in Nashville like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'll be in Nashville in like 2 weeks. And then I was planning to do Go Fest in Orlando. So if all things are congruent, like I was just going to be there not necessarily for a meetup, but because Disney Springs is like a super hot spot for Pokemon. So I wanted to be in a place that was like really, really like sickly popular as far as spawns. And I know that place is epic. So that was more for that. And also like a buddy of mine just moved there. So it was kind of like a double dip before I head out to the West Coast. So that was something that I'm doing. But as far as like travel goes, like I don't know when the next like in-person event is going to be. Like I just don't like there's no foreseeable like concrete evidence of that. So it's definitely paused right now. And it's crazy because like those events historically for my channel is when I see like the biggest growth I've ever seen in my channels has always been for the events. So that
definitely
was kind of a little bit
some big spikes there.
Yeah, dude, huge, especially the Yokohama and Go Fest Chicago were like 10 to 15,000 sub months.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's same thing with the podcast. Like whenever, even like when Sword and Shield was released, it's like you get a spike because people are just on the Pokemon hype train, you know? So it's like,
without a doubt,
it's just, you know, event wise, not only people looking for information, but they want to see the coverage, especially with the traveling abroad. That makes total sense.
Right. Exactly.
You've hit 100,000 subs on YouTube, you know, recently. Yeah. You jumped to 118,000. What's that journey been like?
Dude, it's crazy, man. I definitely have a shirt that I want to make soon. That we toyed around with the idea like a while ago when my channel was on fire back then. And then I kind of let it slide because, you know, like everything, like you have waves. And so my channel was on like a hot tear, and then it kind of slowed down to like an average of like 5,000 to 6,000 subscribers a month, and now it's back up again. So I'm just grateful when I see those spikes, and when I do see those spikes, my drive to put out more content consistently, higher volumes, which I already do a content piece per day, but I'm more willing to do 2 pieces a day if needed during that time frame, because I know that when the fire is burning hot, you don't want to let the fire go out. You want to keep throwing a log on it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah, that's like you got to strike with the iron side.
Yeah, man. So when it's hot, man, it's hot. And like, to be honest with you, seeing myself at 118 when I feel like it was like a month and a half ago that I hit 100 is just like bananas. That's like almost
that's
a quarter
crazy.
of what I got in 2 years in like 2 months.
I had no idea of that jump, and like I was like, oh, I gotta, you know, I'm writing this show, and I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta ask him about the 100K, and I go to your channel, I'm like, oh shit, he's at 118 already. Like he was nuts. Just like wasn't that long ago at all that he hit 100K. I was like, that's an amazing trend.
Yeah. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And also hit the notification bell
on that.
And
125.
And if you are already subscribed, uncheck the notification bell and then click it again.
Yes.
Make sure you get
Billy's
videos.
Make sure it still works.
All right, so I definitely want to pick your brain. The last time we were on at like the close of the interview, last time we started to get into this conversation about functional medicine and self-care and health and routines, and like I started getting really motivated and excited to pick your brain about this. So give me an understanding of your background when it comes to, you know, functional medicine and health at large, because I mean you've got a significant amount of training, right?
Right. Yeah. So I have my journey started when I was 22 and I got super sick. Basically had 3 surgeries in less than a year, coming off of mono, and the combination of heightened liver enzymes from mono, heightened liver enzymes just kind of incapacitate your ability to detoxify. And every time you go under anesthesia, you know, those are some pretty heavy duty chemicals going into your body. Your body needs to process those and get them out through your liver. So I had 3 like minor surgeries. 2 were umbilical cord hernia surgeries that had been there since probably birth, but since I was exercising more, just bothered me. And then I moved to Tampa, and I went to skateboard and I broke my arm just warming up, like super like weird kicked off imbalanced ramp that I was a pretty high level skateboarder that would never happen, but just like the way this ramp was set up and I was a little off balance and I just kind of like crunched my arm. And so after that, like it just put me into this spiral downhill. So I had to start learning and seeking out different types of stuff, because after going to all these doctors, multiple doctors, getting multiple rounds of standard MD blood work, they all came back and basically told me I was crazy and should see a psychiatrist because I need Zoloft because all my blood is fine, and since I'm feeling this way, it's obviously something wrong with my psychology and my brain, so I need to get on brain-altering medications, which didn't feel like the right thing to do to me, and I had anxiety thinking about getting these things about having anxiety. So I said, that's not the right case for me. I'm going to go a different route. And so I started seeing some chiropractors who were into functional nutrition and medicine and did supplements, and finally led me to this place of finding somebody that could really help me. And then that person and another chiropractor inspired me to start going towards the health realm. And so I started doing a personal training certification, but not just like a online take a test. It was like a school, legit like trade school for personal training, where they completely just like blew the top off of like just like health for me, and like the potential, like, you know, organic versus non-organic food, grass-fed meat versus non-grass-fed meats, and just like everything that could be and could not be influencing. And it was typically not a training that I would get or you would get from any type of personal training school. I just happened to get lucky that these people were so enlightened at the time. So
nice.
So I was super blessed on that to start just like understanding that. So I got my personal training, and then I did my undergrad's actually in accounting. And so I then took some biology courses and chemistry courses, and then got accepted for my master's. And I have my master's in human nutrition and functional medicine. So I have a little bit of knowledge under my belt.
Wow. A little.
And I've been a person that when I was younger, high school years, I mean, I was lean and mean, super like hyper athletic.
Right.
You know, it was a martial arts instructor level. You know, I was teaching Taekwondo for 10 years when I was younger.
That's awesome.
And I broke my tailbone snowboarding.
Okay.
In it's got to be like 2003 or something like that. And I've never been the same. And I could never get myself back to being in good physical shape. And then like the past 2 years of my life have been brutally stressful between like the brand here and, you know, problems with my marriage and all this crazy shit I'm dealing with personally. And my health and my nutrition has like taken a shit. Now I've been vegetarian. I mean, I'm 42 years old. I mean, I've been vegetarian since I was 15. And, you know, I'm recently, you know, leaning very vegan. And it's like I'm just now starting to, because like, you know, I've got healthy people around me. My mother is, you know, my brother's vegan. My mother is vegetarian. She's very into whole foods and, you know, organic foods. And I always thought she was kind of crazy.
Right.
And now that I've been on a almost exclusive organic diet for like maybe 3 months.
Right.
It's only been about 3 months.
Right.
Like a total night and day difference.
Dude,
like,
100%.
It's the craziest
thing. So here's the thing, if you think about it,
I don't
like,
drink coffee anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's crazy.
If you think about it, if you're eating non-organic food, and let's think of something that would be traditionally a healthy meal would be like, let's say, just a regular person would go and eat like a salad at Olive Garden because you think that's like the definition of what a healthy meal would be for you. If that meal is laden with petroleum-based pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, GMO products that your body doesn't know how to digest, that thing that you think is good is actually doing worse for you than good. So it's like, that's why the organic is so important, because it's not just about eating whole foods. It's about eliminating the amount of exposure to toxins that we are exposed to on a daily basis as low as possible and in the most consistent ways possible. And one of those things is water, food, air. If you can start transitioning those things into something differently, you're going to start having your body being able to have less of a toxic burden. And if you're thinking about like adipose tissue, like fat tissue, it's not just like I'm eating too many calories. That's like a very rudimentary way of thinking about it. There's so many different things that could be associated with that. But one of the things of fat is that it's actually a storage of toxins. That's why like sometimes like when you start losing weight, you might like have an odor or whatever it is if you're in the gym, right? Because like your body stores toxins in its adipose tissue to pull it away from your organs so that you can live properly without having a sewage plant of toxins floating around your blood at all times.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's been like a perfect storm for me because I've gotten into gardening like heavily and cooking heavily. Sweet. So with those two things, I mean, I've gotten to the point where now at least 2 out of the 3 meals a day, I can go directly from garden to kitchen.
Yeah, and that's really cool. The next level to that is that you're doing something that, like, you know, it's one thing to go get some food at the store, right? But then there's another thing when you're able to almost get it from the earth, and that's another energy transfer that is very oftenly overlooked, that you can't replicate that fresh energy transfer of when you pick it off the vine, it's then no longer connected to the earth. The longer it goes away from it, the less nutrients and bioavailable antioxidants and all these health property things are going to be in that food. So like getting it directly from there and then going directly into your body is like one of the most ideal and best ways that you could do it.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Question.
That's very cool. But
frozen or canned? If ideal world.
Frozen, 100%.
Frozen. Okay. See, that's what I do. Okay. All right, continue, Ken.
Yeah,
we're asking the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to like canned stuff, but like frozen, the cool thing about frozen is like it's flash frozen typically at the peak of ripeness, right? So it's flash frozen, instantly frozen at like the best time that it could be, and then they just mass store it in the freezers. So like if you think about it like something like a bee or something, like you can freeze insects and then you thaw them and they'll still be living sometimes, right? So it's similar to fruit and vegetables that you flash freeze it with the most amount of, if it's at peak freshness, it's also going to have the most amount of nutrient content as well. So that's a positive thing as well.
Interesting. And the you know, so I love that, again, that visualization of the energy transfer of picking something out of the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love that. That's a really cool
Positive,
perspective.
man. There's a huge research around earthing, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically just taking your shoes off and walking on the bare ground, because your body builds up ions, and when you're earth, basically connecting your bottom of your soles, which is how your body connects and releases those ions into the ground of the earth and then receives them back, it like dramatically can lower your blood pressure faster than any type of blood pressure medications just by earthing alone. And we wear rubber soles on the bottom of our feet. And what does rubber do? It blocks the transmission of any type of electricity, because if you think about it, if you're going to be in your car, right, what's a safe place during a lightning storm? Because you have rubber on your tires, so the lightning can't go through the car, so it's not going to come through.
Wow.
You know, and it's funny. I shit you not. I was going to say, dude, I like being barefoot.
Yeah.
Gardening in barefoot.
For sure.
And it's like, you know, I live at the Jersey Shore, so it's like I'm not a beach person. But hell yeah, there's something about just walking in the sand that's like very
calming.
You know, I get, yeah,
I love
the
Jersey Shore, man.
I feel very grounded. You know, I just feel very, you know, there's just something about that release and that mental release you can get from that kind of connection. So
it's like a necessary part of life that we were genetically programmed and have done for thousands of years. And it's not until the last 200 or 300 years that we started wearing these rubber-soled shoes. And maybe we used to walk in leather shoes where you could still pass that energy through, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the roundabout way I wanted to talk about this was getting back to the game here. Niantic has made it exceptionally clear that one of the tenets of the game and foundations that they build the game on is exercise and wellness at large. How do you take your knowledge of health and, you know, well-being and all that stuff we were just kind of talking about? Is that something that you apply to Pokemon or your playing of Pokemon, or is that something you think about, those two parallels?
I mean, not directly, to be honest with you. Like, for me, like, I think movement's important, but for me, like, you know, I'm just not a sedentary person in general, so I'm always kind of like doing stuff, and, you know, I obviously edit, so I am sedentary at some points during the day, but like, it's never been a challenge for me to exercise or do this stuff. So I don't really think of it like that. It was never like, I need this game for me personally. And I know a lot of people have drastically benefited from that, which is amazing. And I love hearing all those stories. But it was just like, I like to be outside. And now I have a video game that's cool that I can do while I'm outside. And so like, it totally changed everything in gaming for me. Like, it's hard for me to even sit down and play like a video game anymore. Cause it's like, I don't want to sit down in a room and look at a screen and do, you know, I'm already editing on a screen. Like, that's the last thing I want to do is like be inside and game anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice juxtaposition of these type of games, because whether it's going to be, we've kind of been trained over the past couple months, or forced to be trained to have this play at home mentality.
Right.
And the game really has felt this shift.
Yep.
And I mean, even to the point, like with PvP, you don't have to walk to do matches.
Right.
I mean, when that comes back, it's going to be crazy. People are going to lose their minds. And it's like,
Totally.
You got to think about it. This is already a reduction. It was 5K per set when it first came out, and then they lowered it to 3. Now it's been 0. So if it goes back to 3 or even to 2, people are still going to lose their minds. And it's like, I appreciate that balance that allows me to still be connected digitally. I love technology. I love the digital world. I don't think that it should be shunned, because I think it empowers us. But I also think it's super important to balance that with Earth and nature and
you were on the 15K a day challenge for a while. That was pretty epic. It got me motivated,
and that was hard as hell for me.
And it motivated me. Like, I was out running. It was a good time.
I got messages from hundreds of people. It was amazing. And it's like, dude, once this, the whole quarantine thing is behind us, I'm gonna get back on that. It's just like, and I'm still walking. I'm still where I was doing, the 90 to 105K in game a week. Now I'm still doing like 70, 80. So I'm still moving it. I'm just not filming it. But because I'm just doing more for the channel, and it's hard to maintain that balance. But I mean, this is not a tongue-in-cheek question, but do you think that Pokemon Go in some way can be like a form of holistic medicine?
I mean, honestly, like anything that contributes towards health is positive, and movement's a big thing of that. And a lot of people, like we just talked about, have been gamers or whatever that is that are attracted to Pokemon Go that may have been sitting inside in front of a TV gaming. So, I mean, holistic health, there's so many different avenues. And like I said, movement and exercise are one of those avenues. So that totally fits in the avenue that like you just have to move, because it's going to help your blood move, keep your organs healthy, push nutrients throughout your body and everything like that. So yeah, totally. It's definitely a piece. And a lot of people just don't, especially people that may have like a challenge in one area, that maybe movement's like not their favorite thing. If you can give them something like a video game to go and play and move where they don't have to think about moving, like they're still moving and it's positive. So 100%.
Dude, I like literally my sleep schedule sucks, right? I'll put it this way. My toothbrushing schedule sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have Pokemon Smile. My teeth are freaking immaculate right
now.
Oh,
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, but I'm serious. Like, my sleep schedule is terrible. I guarantee you when Pokemon Sleep comes out, I'm going to be working on improving my sleep schedule. I need that type of motivation. I need that type of goal setting where it's like, yeah, I know I should be out there moving, and I know I should be out there walking, but really why I'm doing this is because I want to see the number go up in the game. It's like, it's the weirdest thing.
And that's just probably because it's more of like, it's goal setting, it's tracking, but it's like a fun way of tracking. It's not like me pulling up an Excel spreadsheet and it's like, this is not fun for me. Like, I don't want to, I don't care about adding 5 in this S2 cell and then the S3 and then S4. Like, I don't care about that. Like, what I care about is a cute little Pokemon smiling back at me after I'm done brushing my teeth. Like, that's cool.
That's what I'm talking about. And it's like, that's all I need. And I think Niantic has done like an amazing job of positioning themselves there, totally where agree. It's like they're with the integration with the health kits and all that kind of stuff. Like, they're part of it. They're part of that. It's really amazing.
And I also give them a tremendous amount of credit for being consistent and not bending or transitioning their vision into something different because like a lot of people don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're just very rigid on the fact that like they're about this health, scope, and sure, they could sell out and do whatever they want, but they haven't done it and they've been consistent with it. And I have a vast amount of respect for people that take a lot of slant, especially on social medias, because I've been at the brunt end of that with the Halo League and Arena Gaming. And, you just feel when you have thousands of people that watch you and, tens of, hundreds or whatever of professionals playing with you that like nobody's ever happy, it feels like, and it's rare to see that. So it's just really cool that they've been so consistent with that.
Yeah, when we had Liz from Niantic on, a while ago, I mean, when she said, like, look, it doesn't matter what the decision is in the future of this game. Every single decision that's made when it comes to how this game is developed has to bring us back to these core tenets of community and exercise and, the outdoors and exploration. It's like all of the decisions are influenced by those cores.
Yeah.
So, that's just something that even when I was out walking so much, I've still taken it for granted, the real reasons why I should be doing this. And
Right.
it's like, I think that it's nice to hear from a creator that has knowledge about this, because it's cool that you have a platform where you can share this information and kind of get people thinking. And I love the fact that, yeah, this is kind of like an alternative way of thinking to medicine and an alternative way of thinking to health. And I think that fits in very well with the Pokemon community, because we all kind of do things a little different.
Like, have you done a video focusing on like the focus of like mental health and stuff like that?
Yeah, I believe I put a couple of them out. I don't do it super consistently because I know that's not why like people are here at my channel. So I just try to be respectful of the reason why people are here, and I'll probably throw it in. And like I said, it's more of like the energy transfer than me directly trying to influence people, because I feel like even just not portraying that and just living that, being an example of that, is as impactful as me trying to do that and then potentially having somebody feel like they're trying to be forced in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I'll
That
definitely
makes
make sense too.
Look back on those, because I definitely want to watch those.
Yeah.
No,
sure.
but I get that feeling a lot, dude, from your videos, because like you have that level of energy, and it's like, I don't know, every video is like a fucking pep talk. Like, it's like, yeah, I want to go out and catch Pokemon. Like, I'll get all fired up, It's like that's really cool, and I wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit just to help our community understand that there's a lot of different types of personalities and people in
Right.
this creation scene. And even though you may not cover this stuff in your content, it comes through with the importance of positivity and, again, that energy transfer.
Right.
I freaking love that. So I think it's important for people to understand where that's coming from, and obviously it's coming from a place of personal care and personal knowledge, and you're sharing that. So I will gladly accept that energy in return for sharing some of my energy back with you. I think that it's a wonderful exchange there that, I hope everyone in our community gives. If you have not watched Trainer Club videos, check them out, because they do get you excited and get you fired up. And, there's something about the here we go that, like, dude, it's just like I throw punches at my screen every time I watch the video.
Yeah,
like, I'm
I texted
doing it
Ken.
with you. It's
I was like 25 minutes till here we go.
it's like I heard it in Billy's voice. Like, every time like I read it, I heard it. It was the funniest thing.
That's awesome.
But that's awesome, Billy. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. I appreciate you guys having me as always, and I'm happy to talk about anything, share anything, and I'm always happy to come back on whenever you guys need me in any facet, because it's just fun talking and sharing a lot of things that I may not share on my videos, or we can get into more depths and avenues than I typically don't get into. So I appreciate you guys.
The goal here too, what we try to do with the podcast is we want people to listen to the shows while they're out playing, while they're out
Right.
grinding. So it can serve as like this passive way of, getting these points across. And, I love that these type of topics, even passively, can be associated with the game in some way, because I think they're all just positive topics. They're positive things to talk about and, learn about. So it's all good, man. But why don't you let our community know where they can find you? We'll put links, of course, in the description to everywhere they can find your stuff. But any shout outs, plugs, promotions, anything you want to do, just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can find me on YouTube. It's just the Trainer Club, and I should be the one that pops up. If not, you can backslash it. And then pretty much on all the social medias, it's either the Trainer Club with 2 B's after it, or just 1 B is the Facebook one. And yeah, tomorrow, well, I guess it'll already be dropped. We have the GoFest gear going out, so I'm excited for that, man. I'm excited for GoFest. I think it's going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to see everybody that's playing, because in my opinion, like, there's no way that I wouldn't play, and everybody has the chance. Nobody's going to be excluded from this, so that's important, man, and it's going to be really fun.
I think this could be like, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to get the tally of how many tickets they sell, but it's going to be big.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait.
Like, you get 2 days too. Like, oh my gosh, I was like thinking, like, can I even do that? Is that even possible?
I'm gonna be like The Walking Dead. I told Holly, I was like, you need to do a 48-hour stream.
Man, like, dude, you could not do that in somewhere like Yokohama, because that place was ridiculously hot and humid.
Yeah. That's crazy. But Billy, thank you again. We appreciate it. Trainer Club.
Yeah,
make sure you check out his content, channels, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you do that. Stuff's in the description, please. But for everyone else, thank you so much. This has been an episode of the Lured Up Podcast Creator Series with the Trainer Club. Please check out luredup.com for everything that we have going on. Check out PokemonProfessor.com for everything that we have going on at the network, including Adam's other show, Special Conditions, and our other show, Gotta Watch Them All. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. We have JT Valor coming on the show. So we'll have JT next week. Billy, thank you again.
Yeah, we'll see you guys out on the next podcast. Peace.